I know I haven't done a mental health talk in a while, so I figured why not. And this one's about dialectical behavior therapy, which is like a group that I'm in recently, which is why it's been harder to read the books as often as I want to. So dialectics are the die is kind of like bi. It's like two and or many things that can be true at the same time or exist at the same time, coexisting. And these are notes I've taken on an old group I used to go to, but they are still necessary and still useful and helpful. And I thought that these would help in case you had trouble understanding what the group would try to teach you. This one was about emotion identifying and regulation. So this one was shame. The first emotion, it was embarrassment, shyness, and self-consciousness. This was something I really used to struggle with a lot. What might cause it? Rejection from people that you care for, like what might cause shame. You want to know why you feel the way you feel, so that way you're not just confused, It's important to know why you feel the way you do, where, what, when, where, how, the W's. Not living up to your own behavior or physical or emotional standards or someone else's standards. Sometimes we put really high standards on ourselves and we can't meet them. I used to have a super hard time with perfectionism until recently. I just told myself, it wasn't that easy. Don't make me let you believe it's just that simple. I'm going to say I'm not going to be a perfectionist and then I stop. But there was just one day where it was I can't keep talking to myself like this. I can't keep calling myself an idiot. So every time I caught myself calling myself an idiot, I had to do the opposite and say, you're not an idiot. You just forgot something. You're human. You're human. Every time you find yourself talking negatively to yourself, just remind yourself that you are human. We make mistakes. What else can cause you shame? Being betrayed by someone that you love. You might feel I shouldn't have trusted them. I should have known better. I've had really long friendships like that. Being laughed at or critiqued in public. Being reminded about something that you don't like about yourself. Like body shaming. And, that's why body shaming and things like that are such a huge topic nowadays with girls and things like that, and men and women and people in general. Exposing something private, if someone exposed a secret about you or something, failing something that you think you shouldn't have. I grew up in an abusive home, and I had very high standards on me, so I had to really do well in school all the time. So my first failing grade was the first time I really had to deal with shame. It was huge. I felt awful. I felt like dirt. I'd never gotten a failing grade before. So, I'm in second grade. I failed the math test, and my mom is pissed off, screaming at me, and all I can do is sit in the corner and cry because, I'm supposed to be smart. And, shame usually comes from words like that. I'm supposed to be, I should be, I should have, why didn't I? The next thing you should do with shame is interpret. What might shame you? So it doesn't exactly, but it might, if you interpret it that way. So it's like taking something personally versus not. Believing others will leave you. is something I wrote down here. If you believe others will leave you, that will make you like so wanting to please people. So you will be, always running for people's attention. And I have slowly started to pull myself back from being a people pleaser, because growing up I had to really work for people's attention. My parents really didn't hug me unless it was my birthday. I still get really happy on my birthday. I love presents. I love attention. I'm really dramatic because of it. I love hugs. Judging yourself as less than, that will definitely cause shame. Invalidating yourself, like your feelings, saying you're unlovable, saying you're wrong or immoral or defective. Defective meaning like you're wrong, or like there's something wrong with me. I'm so dumb. Why did I do that? I should have known that, I should have known that. I'm such an idiot. Why did I do that? Like the other day, there was something I forgot, and I had to go back and get it. And it wasn't even that I was an idiot, but I caught myself saying, man, I'm such an idiot. I should have remembered to bring water with me on this trip, because, I have to be very careful about drinking water now that I know that it causes some of my seizures. I have to be very careful about the amount of water I drink and how I eat and how I sleep. 3 major huge things, right? But, I was just so nervous that day about something. So the stress was coming to me, and I was like, oh, you idiot, how could you forget to bring water? But then, like, right then when I heard the word idiot, it was like, whoa, if you were your friend, if you were talking to someone else, you wouldn't talk to them like that. If they were like, oh, so-and-so, let's say like, oh, person A, I forgot my water. Can you please go get it for me? Person B wouldn't turn around and be like, oh, person A, no, I'm not going to go get it for you because you're such an idiot. Why would you forget to bring water? Person A would probably just be like, yo, I forgot my water. Person B just be like, yo, I'll run back and get it for you. Sure. You're human. You forget. It happens. And a lot of stores have places where you could buy water anyway. It's not that expensive, really. Other things that can make you feel shame if you interpret it, due to interpretation, is thinking your body is wrong, like for the longest time, and still to this day sometimes. I just really miss the days when my stomach was a lot flatter. I went through, puberty doesn't really end until you're 25, I think, for girls or something. I think that's what they say. And so, you really want to be pretty and things like that. And don't think because I can't see that, it doesn't bother me that, I can't see my own reflection. There are days I really want to know what I look like. But, there was one day I just put my hands on my stomach, and it was just like, well, I remember the days where I didn't always feel like I was bloated. What's my stomach doing? My hips got wider, and I was like, am I getting fat? And I didn't want to be fat because I was supposed to be skinny. I'm supposed to be the skinny one. My brothers are really tall. I have a brother that's really tall. He's younger than me. I have a brother who does a lot of sports and stuff like that. But I'm the smart, skinny one that's really short and has really thick hair, and I'm supposed to be the really feminine one of my siblings, and I'm really proud of that. But I don't want to gain this weight. I didn't want it back then, and then I learned to accept it, But for a while, it was like my aunt and I were like, oh, should we suck in? Like, should we, because she was trying to be supportive, she was trying to help me. She was like, if you want to hide it, I'll help you. And she bought me these shorts that helped you, like, squeeze your stomach in, tuck. I called them corset shorts. but they make your waist look smaller. But after a while, my friends just told me it's not like that, And my aunt, after a while, even, like one day she sat me down and she was just like, puberty, your fat goes to your stomach and your thighs, your hips, that's just how it is. And I hadn't known that, no one had told me, certain parts of puberty, your fat is going to go to your stomach and your thighs. I thought like it just went to your breasts, your butt. Like I knew it went to your thighs, but not like that. I didn't know your hips would get like that. Like I didn't know there was more growing. So, yeah. There are biological changes too when you feel things. Like maybe when you're nervous, you sweat. So it's like, how does it feel physically when you feel shame? So like when I'm feeling shame, there's like a pit in my stomach. It feels like really empty. It's like I want to hide. I feel like I want to shrink or disappear or cover myself. I feel very empty inside. But your biological changes you want to take note of as well. So that way maybe you can start to notice it. It's like when people get angry, but they don't really know when they're about to get angry because they don't really pay attention to what sets them off or like what's a warning before they get really angry. So like maybe you start breathing heavily, maybe you start sweating a certain way, or you start like talking a certain way, and like everyone around you is like, oh, that's when she's like starting to get angry. But like you don't know that because you haven't been paying much attention, right? So, but like you want to do that. So, so that way it's like you've identified what you feel. Shame. What causes it or what might cause it. What it's, you've identified it. Right? What might have caused it? What, like, how you interpret the situation that caused it? Like, what would cause it? Biological changes in yourself and now you want to do things. Now you want to take note of things you do when you feel this feeling. So right now we're doing shame. So what do you do when you feel shame? So I hide. I hide away in my room. I do a lot of apologizing. I sit like slumped over, or I sit like straight up, like really rigid. But there's always a lot of tension in my shoulders too. And then what are the after effects? Like when it's all said and done, like how does it leave you feeling? Like let's say everyone had a party and they left you to clean up. Like how does that leave you? It leaves me depersonalizing. So it's like I don't really feel like I'm inside of my body. I don't feel like I'm in my skin a lot of the time. When I'm done feeling ashamed, I just want to go to bed. I just want to take a nap. But I kind of feel like I'm floating. I feel like I'm going through the motions. I feel like I'm not really here living my life with myself. So people will be talking to me, but I don't really process or hear what they're saying. I kind of sometimes dissociate. I divert my attention. I avoid people. and I really don't answer calls. So that was my first thing to do with shame. We'll do another one with guilt. So let's do guilt. So here are ways to describe guilt. So let's say let's say you feel guilty. And so we say remorse, apologies, regret, and sorry. Like that's how you're feeling. Like that's how it makes you feel. So like, what is it? Like, what is guilt? Describe guilt, right? Tell us what it is for you. How do you interpret it? And it's doing things, or maybe the feeling you get when you do something wrong. Going against something that you said that you would do, or harming somebody or something, or being reminded of something that you did or didn't do. So what's your interpretation of what made you feel guilty, So this, I put thinking that you're to blame, behaving badly, or if only thoughts, like if only I did this, if only I did that, this wouldn't have happened, and other things. What are the biological changes you get with guilt? So my face gets hot. I don't know if it changes to red because I have dark skin, but my face gets hot red, and I get nervous. I get jittery feelings, and I feel very suffocated. I feel like I can't really breathe well. What are your what are the actions you get from this, like the biological changing thingies? So you can change the outcome by saying sorry, and you can give the person a gift, and you can make up your wrongdoing. This is called making resolutions to the change. You can do something like a self-help thing if the guilt was a misinterpretation or something, or you can just generally get better. Then they have more words to describe other feelings like grief, grief is something I don't have much experience with. I've not much lost someone super close to me, except my great-grandmother recently. But sadness tells you something about yourself. Maybe you hate your job, or the person that you lost. Even grief would tell you that the person you lost was very close to you. Or, sadness can tell you you're not being treated right, Your body knows what's happening before your brain does, and that's why you feel, hence the word feelings. So that's why we start with identifying them. You want to know what it is so that you can get the best idea of what's going on. You want to get the best idea of what happened to you. And then you want to be able to know how to fix it, because everyone's different. Something that would make you upset is not going to make someone else upset, and then maybe it will, but maybe it would make them different maybe it would make them upset in a different way. But the thing is, as long as you know what you're feeling and everything, I feel like you have this thing of power that no one can take away from you. Because it's like, no one can tell you you're a liar if you are so sure that you're telling the truth, right? Like, no one can tell you you're a liar if you were there and you saw it with your 2 eyes and la 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 la, right? So it's the same thing with your feelings. You know how you're feeling. No one can tell you how you feel. They're your feelings. And if you know what they are, for sure, no one can make up some words to just throw at you like, oh, she's feeling resentful or whatever. Because now you know for sure what they are. So I think that identifying what they are and doing all these other things is a very good idea. Thank you for listening.